The book Beyond Profit: How a Nigerian Company Built a Culture of Credibility, written by Tosin Adeoti, captures the story of Proshare, a specialized financial information practice firm, and its evolution into a strategic firm that provides timely, reliable, and credible market information backed by data. Elder statesmen, military officers, market leaders, industry leaders, business leaders, analysts, and the financial media converged in Lagos for the book's formal unveiling. In his opening remarks, Mr. Olufemi Awoyemi, M&I, founder and chairman of the board of directors of Proshare, provided insight into the company's corporate journey.
We have learned over the years that a business does not thrive or fail on the circumstances it faces, but on the character it chooses to adopt. Most importantly, the culture that drives its mission and the institutional resilience it needs to deliver the adaptability and agility required to weather storms is something that only requires an applier's mindset. The Proshare journey, therefore, has been arduous, exhilarating, and most times quite frustrating at very critical points. But here we are.
I may be the founder. I might have had to cope with the loneliness and emptiness of embarking on an uncertain journey, but it will be remiss of me to fail to acknowledge that there are many people who help to shape, clarify, and form the ideas I often dabble into, people I owe a debt of gratitude. And these are the people who built Proshare.
It featured a fireside chat on the evolution of Proshare as a brand, anchored by Mr. Bosun Omofaye, host of the Arise Exchange Show and founder of Frontier Africa Reports. In their contributions, Mr. Felicia Phillips, founder and chairman of Phillips Consulting, Alhaji Umaru Wairanga, chairman of Nigeria Exchange Group, and other dignitaries extolled Mr. Olufemi Awoyemi's qualities and acknowledged the positive impact of the Proshare brand on the Nigerian financial market.
When I met him, he wrote a complaint about his stockbroker. You see that guy is here. One stockbroker. Very serious complaint. Then my boss in this said I should look into the matter. I invited Femi to my office and the stockbroking MD. The way he presented the case, very articulate, intelligent, to the last kobo. He was fighting for his client as his life depended on that. It was at that event that I picked particular interest in him. Then we became friends, and he was always calling me for information. I will call Kenyan Okafor to give me some information and pass to him. He left money-wise 2005, I think.
Yes.
Or 6. And started Proshare in 2006.
Most of us feel proud with what Proshare was able to achieve as of today. When you see where they are coming from, where they are today, is something that every Nigerian will be proud to be associated with Proshare in terms of what they have done. It may not be things that we really need from him, but the good side of him is that it's straightforward, the integrity is there, and he can defend it like the way Mr. Musa Alakama have mentioned earlier. So for us, on behalf of the NGS, I know what they have achieved. For me as a person, on most occasions, on daily basis, I used to go to their website. Even as the chairman of NGS, we have the website, but I rely on their website too, because of up-to-date information, the data, the credibility of Proshare.
Thank you.
You cannot argue about Femi's competence. I mean, that's what we've been talking about all along. All the issues that are technical in nature, the financial issues, and all those things that come naturally to him. But you see, the quality of your competence is determined by your character. And it is your character that helps to give value to your competence. And that is where Femi actually shines. His character is one that allowed me to bring him into Phillips Consulting.
And what Proshare stands for right from the beginning was about data, that it keeps on shouting data is everything. That once you just get the data, you can actually influence the market. The way that we look at Femi and Proshare is the same way that you look at those people that are fighting for the nation in terms of the political space. He has picked his own battle, the finance, the economy, and the market. When he writes an article, forget even all the information on the data on the portal. When there is a problem in the market, any issue, whether in one small company, big company, whether even somebody is buying shares or is selling shares, Proshare will come up with one article, one report, and then it becomes a raving moment. Everybody wanted to read it. Everybody will be asking questions. The basic line is like, what is in the best interest of the society?
One thing about Femi is the fact that he's interested in the public good. And that's one area I find myself, public good. We all at the private sector are concerned about ourselves, our company, and we leave the public space unattended to. And what I tell people is that if they successfully get your neighbor, they'll come back for you. And that's how we run our lives as a people, as a nation. We've gone back and become silos. And because they know that we don't pull together, they go after us and they finish us. So what Femi has always done has been, what is the public interest? How can we work together?
Proshare doesn't speak often, if I could say that. But when he speaks, it moves the markets. The market knows that Proshare has spoken. So just to add to the words that have been said, we are behind you and look forward to a lot more of all of that as we go forward.
The highlight of the event was the unveiling of the book to the public.
The book is inspirational. The simple lesson for the man who dreams is not to be deterred by setbacks. From the background of his experience with a faith partnership with Ayo Arorolo, a seasoned financial journalist, and the publishing of a financial newspaper called MoneyWise, Awuyemi reinvented himself with Proshare. But the company offered essential service. It provided financial information about the capital market to both the market and the customers and backed that up with rigorous informed analysis. Other sources of financial information used everyday style of reporting. Proshare adopted the language of the experts, reporting from the inside to the investment community in a critical, independent manner. Investors worry about risks. Whatever intelligence that may reduce their fears will make their effort worthwhile. Proshare provided that much needed empowerment, the knowledge about the markets and the fintech ecosystem.
Mr. Taslim Shita Bey, the managing editor and chief economist, Proshare, as part of the events showcasing of services and products, presented key features from the third edition of Tier 1 Banks report titled Evaluating Tier 1 Banks, the Making of the Class of 2024.
Now, in 2004-2005, the then CBN governor, in his wisdom, decided that, look, Nigerian banks need to be much bigger than they are. We need to grow the economy a lot faster. So what did he do? He decided that from a capital base of 2 billion naira, he would raise the capital base for a bank registered in Nigeria to 25 billion, or roughly 10 times. Now, what impact has that had on Nigeria's GDP growth? This is 2004-2005, and this is, you can see the steadily inclining GDP. So it does suggest that if banks are recapitalized, there will be significant growth in GDP. So, but let's look at between 2005 and 2023, there's been no increase in bank recapitalization. However, GDP growth has shown a steady increase. In Proshare, we have developed a concept of financialization. What does that mean? That means that banks can actually translate equity into value. Now, just as typical, let me just give one example here. We see an increase in shareholders' equity here. What is it likely to lead to? We expect it to lead to an increase in loan portfolios and diversification. That's what we call financialism. Now, if that takes place, what will happen to the real sector of the economy? We expect that the manufacturing sector will see higher output, distribution activities will grow, and consumer purchases will increase. Therefore, we argue in Proshare that there must be a great amount of financialism in the system. Here, this chart also sort of gives us an idea of the implications. Banks recapitalize. How does it affect the economy? Banks will increase loans and advances. Those will result into increased manufacturing output, and our GDP will grow faster. How does bank recapitalization affect businesses? Obviously, there will be increase in loans and advances. There will be increase in business output. But to the man on the street, what concerns everybody with overload? So yeah, banks have recapitalized. So what? For those invested in the equity market, we expect that because companies will be doing better, there will be an increase in capital gains, and there will therefore be an increase in dividends, which, if households had invested in equity, there will be a higher household welfare.
Jennifer Aburime and Dr. Funke Medun speak on the governance and talent development approach of the company.
The insistence on excellence, first of all, by the managing director at that time, Mr. Lufemi Awoyemi, has moved the company upwards. And for a private company that started off concentrating so much on having its corporate governance structure in place, it was simply amazing. I didn't understand initially why they wanted to be so. I thought it would just be regular CAC, do your CAC compliance and all that. But the intent was clear from the beginning. And when a company sets up like that, the level of excellence and compliance, look at the Proshare model and run with it.
So beyond work, Proshare has been able to create an environment that makes people to feel safe to come to work, to make it open for people to be able to talk about what they want to be and how the organization can support them. And you can even see from the transition, when the CEO stepped back, you could say that from in-house, we were able to get someone that stepped into the CEO's shoe, from just joining as a junior staff to growing through the ranks within the organization and being able to be at the helms of affairs with the trust and confidence the organization has been able to instill in her. And you can also see from the board and the management how the staff are doing. So I would say in one word that a word should be emulate, So my key word would be emulate. I would say Proshare is a case study for organizations to look at. Beyond profits, how should we treat our staff? Beyond profit, how should we run an organization to make it sustainable? And so I just want to say, get the book and get more insight about what happens at Proshare, and a lot of lessons to be learned.
Mr. Olufemi Awoyemi, M&I, provided insight on what Nigerian companies can learn about building a system of credibility and integrity.
I think it's more to do with my own story and not making sure that people who work with me fall victim to what I fell into. And in order to do that, I needed to put a ring fencing around myself to protect the organization from me. And so when you find out that you are sociable, you mix with people, and then you also want to be independent at the same time, you get into very difficult territories. But then we found out that there are ways in which it's done in other environments and in other companies, even in Nigeria. There are quite a number of companies that have that credibility. But what we said to ourselves was, because we were combining about three elements together, it was always going to be a contradiction. So from day one, we needed to be sure that whatever was said, we can defend it. And the thing that helps you is with data. Data. In every other thing is data. So you can argue with what you feel like, but you cannot argue with the data. And so when we built that, we then had to go through things like data integrity, data credibility, data reliability, data timeliness. So the whole thing we talk about Proshare is based around those four things around data integrity. And when we did it, there wasn't the social media. There wasn't website. But we knew that was where the future was going to be. Now, why we're talking about the book today is because we know fully well that that future we saw then is not history. Now the next wave is already here, which means that people do not necessarily have to worry about the data because they have platforms who would have the data, who would process it, who would do whatever. So the quality of human decisions will be far higher now than before, which means the organizations will have to evolve. And so what we thought we do is to document that story in such a way that people can learn, so that people who come now will not say there was never anything. And so what should happen now is that information will be processed faster, much more efficient, but never at the sacrifice of credibility. Because once we lose that, is there. And when we started that about 4 years ago, we had envisaged a system whereby you find fake news, wrong news, or people just manufacturing things. So you then need a brand that has that credibility. So when everybody puts out things, you have to go back and say, where is it coming from? And that is the real challenge that anybody wants to learn as an entrepreneur. Build something that people can come back to you for. And for us, we are still a work in progress. And so that next journey is almost like starting all over again. But good organizations know when to die to self so that they can be reborn. And I think that's the summary of it all.
The evolution of Proshare from an analyst service to a specialized financial information practice firm in over a decade is a testament to the resilience, dedication, and commitment of the founder, board, executive management, and entire staff of the company to deliver reliable, credible, and timely market information that will enable policymakers, regulators, business leaders, industry leaders, investors, analysts, and the public make informed decisions.